Hi YouTube, welcome to Pagan Perspective. This is Megan, aka Spiritory. Today is Friday. Hi YouTube, welcome to Pagan Perspective. This is Megan, aka Spiritory, and today we are talking about connecting with nature. So, the question asker talks a little bit about the fact that they haven't been able to make the connection, that they know pagans are supposed to be connected to nature, which I don't really like the word like should or supposed to be. I kind of have a saying that I like to use when people say, oh, I should be doing this, I should be doing that. And I'm like, okay, wait a minute, stop shoulding all over yourself. Like, right? It's not okay. You don't have to do those things. There's no should in this. Everyone can live their life how they want to live their life, and they can have a connection with their religion, with their deities, with their spirituality, with all of it, and it doesn't have to look like what somebody else's does. So now, the difference though is if you want a connection with nature. So want I like so much more than should. So I'm not going to say as a pagan you should have connection with nature. I'm going to say as a pagan, clearly you are wanting a connection with nature and you've had trouble finding that connection. So I'm going to give my 2 cents on how to find that connection, I guess. So yeah, so the question asker talks a little bit about plants first and hasn't had any luck, particularly because they are allergic to pollen. So first thing I would suggest, if you are looking for a connection with plants, but you either A, don't have the space to be planting plants or having gardens or anything like that, or you can't be outside because of an allergy, anything like that, I highly recommend working with herbs. It allows you to be connected to the plant while not having to have the garden. Now, when I say working with herbs, yes, some people have gardens, absolutely. But you can work with herbs without ever having to step your foot into a garden at all. I mean, once you start working with them, you might eventually want to have something and you can find a way to make it work. But truly, you can go your entire life working with herbs and never once even stepping into a garden. And the way you do that is you purchase dried herbs. So I highly recommend purchasing them from places that are known for their quality, organic herbs. The place that I go to is Mountain Robes. I'm not going to be able to talk today. I am so sorry. I'm so tired. All right, scratch that. Start again. mountainroseherbs.com. And if you go to my channel, you will see a lot of videos on herbs. You will see me with a different haircut. So I changed my hair up a little bit. I added a little bit of blue. I had to get funky here in Maui. You know what I mean? Like, I had to shake it up a little bit. So, but I have a ton of videos on different things that you can do with herbs and different properties. I show my herb hutch. Once I get my herb hutch all set here in Maui, I am going to do a revised herb hutch video once I unpack it all. This might take me a little bit of a while. And I will talk more about herbs. I mentioned in one of my last videos here, if you wanted to know more about herbs and things, definitely ask. But ask specific questions because I have a hard time answering just the tell me about herbs kind of stuff. So have specific questions like ailment, stuff like that. I do have a lot of videos on different things, so check those out. And then if you want more information, I do still have a couple more herbal videos that I want to do and plan out. I just need to get the right equipment for it here since moving here, a little down on equipment. So, but yeah, so I do have some videos planned for those, which will be fun, will be awesome. So yeah, so I really recommend working with herbs. It allows you to connect with nature. The energies of the herb are still in it. It just in its dried form. And then that way you can connect with that part, that natural element, and you're getting tons of benefits, whether you're just using herbs to flavor your food. I mean, so many herbs, that's how we flavor our food. When you think about it, a lot of people say they love the taste of meat, okay? But more often than not, they're not talking about a slab of meat that is unflavored. They're putting different natural plant-based or mineral-based elements on it, whether that's salt and pepper and sage or cilantro or oregano or basil or thyme or rosemary or garlic, right? Or onion. They're putting all these amazing flavors, onto it because that's what makes it taste so good. They want the texture, right? But the herbs, right? The minerals and the herbs, those are the things that are giving it that flavor pop, right? So those are things that can be so amazing when you're working with herbs, is that you can make your food taste so good. And trust me, you order culinary herbs, like when I'm talking about culinary herbs, I'm like ones that you would buy, in the grocery store in those little bottles and cost you like $6 a bottle, right? And those have probably been sitting on the shelf for years. They don't have expiration dates. The quality just isn't there. You order something like garlic powder, all right? How many people use garlic powder or onion powder, right, in their cooking? Especially coming up into Samhain, if you do a Samhain dinner or Thanksgiving. How many people in the US do Thanksgiving? And I think it was just like in Canada, they had a Thanksgiving. So, you've got all of these holidays coming up in which people are going to start using things like garlic powder and onion powder and sage, right? And rosemary, all these things. You go and buy the dried herbs like McCormick or whatever. Trust me, those things they hold nothing on what you can get from Mountain Rose Herbs. And for basically the price of one of those little bottles, you can get a giant bag of organic and fresh herbs. And the taste difference, let me tell you, the smell and the taste, it is night and day, the flavor difference. I'm telling you right now, it will blow your mind. So get your culinary herbs from them too. They taste better, they're better for you, they're organic, they're not gonna have all of the pesticides and things like that on them. And you get to work with something that is so much more natural. So that's a way to do culinary. And if you check out my channel, one of the things that you'll see is I do a sprinkle. I call them sprinkles. And basically it's a medley, kind of like when you buy an Italian seasoning, but you get to control what goes into it. So you get to control A, the quality of the ingredients. B, you get to control what goes into it, because half those times those mixes, unless you're using Mrs. Dash, a lot of them have a ton of salt in them, which you just don't need all that salt. You can control your salt then if it's not in that extra kind of mix. So you're able to control those things, and you can really pack a punch with that flavor profile. And then you can just keep it in your cupboard and put it on whatever you want. Plus, on top of that, you're getting all the health benefits from those herbs, because culinary herbs actually have amazing health benefits. Garlic alone is so good for you. So these are things just to keep in mind when you're kind of planning this out. So you can go the culinary herb route, right? You can also go the route of the medicinal herbs. And you can also go in the beauty and healthcare herbs, okay? So there's a couple of different places that you can go. And then on top of that, you can go magical herbs, and you can get them all from the same place, okay? So what I love about that is it allows people who are in a situation where they can't grow their own stuff, they can't get out in nature very often. If you live in a big city, you might not be able to get out every day into nature, but you're able to still get that connection in a way. So that's how I personally like to connect. Now that I'm here in Maui, it's a lot easier to connect. It's funny, in the wintertime when I was living in New England, I just couldn't go outside. It was cold all the time. And so in the wintertime, I would hole myself up, and really herbs were all I had to really connect. You couldn't grow things in the wintertime unless you had an arrow garden, which if you look at my really far back videos, like behind me is a giant like forest arrow garden, because I was constantly trying to bring the natural world into my environment. And I highly recommend arrow gardens. They are amazing, amazing, amazing. So anyway, so the idea though is that you really are, how do I put it? you are finding a way to connect, okay, to earth elements, to nature elements, even though you don't have access to it. So here in Maui, I live across the street from the beach. I walk there. So I'm able to connect with nature all the time. It's amazing. But it took me a while to get here. It was a long process, and I had to really take a lot of chances in my life in order to do something like that. Not everybody's in that same situation. So herbs, definitely one big way to get in touch. The other big way to get in touch is something that I don't particularly use, but we did talk about a couple weeks ago, are crystals, stones. That's a way to connect to nature. They're natural elements. If you don't feel connected with stones, I get it. Neither do I. It's not my thing, but it is an option for you. The other way to connect to nature, and I personally think that this is kind of a cool thing. Now, you're not so much connecting with the earth itself, but you're connecting with the universe and the earth's place in the universe. And that is to get into astronomy. So if you have a telescope and you start really paying attention to the night sky, that can be a super way to get into it. You can, just look out your window, find if you have a porch or something like that, get out there. Now, if you're in a city, it might be a little bit harder because you do have all the city lights. But if you can find a place where you might be able to, get up high, kind of get above the city lights and check out the night sky, that can bring you closer as well. So those are all ways that you can connect to nature. The other way that I think I personally really like to connect to nature, I feel like it helps me to feel a little bit more grounded, is to anytime I am out in the sun. Now, here in Maui, this hasn't been something I've done as much, mainly because the sun is all the time. So I haven't had a problem. But if you live in a place like I used to live in New England, where there is like very little sun for a lot of the year, every time that I was out in the sun, even if I was just walking in my car, I would put my head back and I would look up at the sun with my eyes closed, but facing my face toward the sun. And I would just stay very focused on the sun literally hitting my skin. And it's so crucial for vitamin D and things like that. It's so good for you. I know people are going to talk about sunscreen, all that stuff, but I don't personally wear any sunscreen. I don't. I don't believe in it. So I know that's going to cause a big drama, I'm sure. But that's my personal opinion. For everybody else, they have theirs. I have a lot of reasons why, and if you're interested in that, put that down. I'll make a video on my personal channel. So I am not a proponent for sunscreen. I believe in our natural body and vitamin D production. But that's a totally different topic. But just getting that sunlight touching your skin can be such a connection to the divine. It can be such a connection to everything. And if you are super sensitive to the sun and you don't want to do that, do the opposite. When you get out of the car or you're walking in and out of the building and you see the moon, do the same thing with the moon. Let the moonlight hit your skin. Let the moon just wash all over you. Feel that connection. And you can even do that through a glass window. You can do that. It's still going to have the same effect for you. It's about feeling that grounding energy because you're connecting to it. All right, so those are just some ways in which I feel like you can really connect to nature. I know that the question asker was saying that they've had a really hard time feeling grounded. So those are things that I would recommend. The other thing is cooking. And I know this sounds weird, but cooking for me is a huge way that I connect to nature. I'm a big kitchen witch. I love it. I'm a bit of a hedge witch here. So cooking is such a connection for me. I do try and infuse everything I make with magic. I think that's so important. And so one of the big things that I would suggest is if you really want to get grounded, get whatever is local to you at the time. So like right around now in New England, I would be cooking with a lot of squashes and apples, right? And potatoes and things like that. Just very earthy, right? Fall time stuff, corn, those sort of things would be very, very plentiful right now. And so I'd be cooking a lot with them. Here, I can basically cook with whatever year round because we have 365 days of growing. So I have a lot of advantages where I am now, but where you are, find out what's local, what is growing, what's your kind of the big thing that's happening in your area, and find that and cook with it and connect with that. Really put all your intention in and try and get that within yourself as well. So cooking is a way that I find that I connect. I think one of the ways in which I have tried to really infuse my religion and my faith into my life is making everyday things a religious act. So making ritual out of everyday things. And that allows you to ground more with those things. It allows you to connect more with those things. And once you connect with your everyday life, you'll feel more connected to nature. You'll feel more connected to your own life and to yourself and to your body and your mind, your soul. Like, you will just feel that whole universe coming around you and connecting more if you are more settled and grounded in your own body by making these rituals, these daily habits, by making them more religious in nature. So if you're going to shower, right, water is a natural element. You can connect yourself with water element just by taking a shower, but make it religious. Feel it going over your whole body. Take that moment to meditate on it. Really make sure that you're feeling the water, the temperature, how it moves when it goes over your body. Feel all of those and acknowledge it in yourself. Take the time. I think one of the problems is we don't take a lot of time in our daily life. And so slow down, okay? Just slow it down and ritualize even your everyday things. And I think you'll find that you're able to kind of connect more and be more grounded and whole within yourself. So that's what I have to offer today. And yeah, I think that's about it. So Samhain's coming up. I'm getting super excited. It's going to be awesome. First Samhain in Maui. That'll be exciting. And I have a video coming up. We actually went to a pumpkin patch. Yeah, there is a pumpkin patch in Maui. It was awesome. So we went on a corn maze and pumpkin patch, and it was just delightful. So I do have that video, and it'll be coming up in my personal channel, hopefully fairly soon once I finish all the editing and stuff. So yeah, and I think that's about it, guys. So I hope that you have a phenomenal rest of your week. And as always, blessed be and aloha.